o'clock. Welcome to 3 o'clock. You can go. Hello, my name's Gemma and I work for Frontier Youth Trust. Frontier Youth Trust has 54 years of working to support youth workers who are at the margins. And as Tim and I have just discussed, there is always a new margin as things get adopted by the mainstream. So we're consistently calling youth workers to different places. I'm sure most of you will have heard of the 95%. That's 95% of young people in the UK not accessing any connection to church. Scripture Union have a whole package at the moment around this, encouraging and inspiring churches to reach out to the 95%. But actually, there's a whole bunch of young people of the 95% that your mainstream church is never going to reach. The doors are well and truly locked. There will be no going back. See, across the world, across the UK, as I travel and meet lots of churches and lots of youth workers, many young people in and around our communities are viewed as problems to be solved. People to contain, to control, to channel, and to facilitate. And yet I meet some of the most beautiful, brilliant, joy-filled, energetic and inspiring young people. Young people that are a gift, that only make my heart and my guts sing with joy. So we want to, at FYT, find ways to equip and enable youth workers to work alongside young people like this little one, where it's okay to have a messy face. But we recognise that the systems and structures in place, not just within church, but within society, are broken. Problem is, rather than just moaning about them, we need to start thinking about how we hack the system. Not just for them, but for us, and for all that will come. Q-Space in Northampton are hacking the system. Christian youth workers walking alongside LGBT youth, putting on positive events and opportunities for them to be themselves. I wonder if you've ever considered what prom looks like when you're transgender, when you're gay. So, the guys at Q-Space equip and enable the young people in their community to host their own events, to put on things that are relevant and cultural to them, and yet are creative, safe spaces. They are hacking the system in so many ways and forming their own community. I think that was a glitch. That's just come twice. There you go. But they're also hacking the system in other ways. They have produced and made diversity dice, a set of dice that equip and enable youth workers and churches to talk around the Equality Act. Rather than just getting annoyed at the system that's hurt them, that's oppressed them and keeps them out, they're speaking directly into. The Salvation Army have 100 copies of this resource. Hot Chocolate in Dundee. If you've not been there, please go and visit. They're amazing. They come out of the Steeple Church, which is the churchiest church I've ever seen. Beautiful stained glass windows, historic bits of furniture, and yet amongst that, there are youth workers who are walking alongside young people who've been forgotten, not just for one generation, but for the second and third generations in a row. They are facing challenges of worklessness, of poverty, of addiction, of generations of imprisonment and unemployment in care systems. And they're encouraging young people to hack the system. Now, I have seen youth workers with all sorts of job titles, from music youth worker and arts youth worker, but at Hot Chocolate there are two whose job titles are activist youth worker. Encouraging, inspiring and enabling young people to do the things that are important to them, to have a say and a voice, to band together to be stronger. Learning this summer about resistance, a very biblical concept, but learning how to unite, learning how unions work, and how campaigns and protesting can give a voice to those who've been silenced for so long. Or Worth Unlimited and Waltham Forest, you're not meant to have favourites, but these are on my patch, so I love them dearly. They have a youth bus. Waltham Forest, while it's had massive regeneration thanks to the 2012 Olympics, also has an austerity issue, a forgotten group of people who have been left in the margins. There are tower blocks, quite similar to what you've seen for Grenfell. And alongside that come some real issues, not from young people, but from adults, where adult men stab 14-year-old boys, where cuckooing, if you've not heard of that, I'll chat to you about it later, is prevalent, where county lines are running. And yet the guys at Worth Unlimited Waltham Forest are equipping and enabling a whole new bunch of young people to hack the system. They are hearing the pain and frustration in their voices, and they're channeling them together. Citizens UK for Waltham Forest has done spectacular things. They've ensured a legacy on the Olympic Park of living wage. They have literally made the streets brighter as they've campaigned for street lighting in areas that have previously been dark and void. All over the UK, youth workers and young people are working together. Youth workers are not working for young people, but they are working together in ethical hacking, in ways of making systems and structures change, because young people are being given a voice and a role, not a token seat at the table. There are a number of ways that we can hack the system. Rather than shouting about it, it's time to speak into it. So I thank you for listening today. You've been great. But the challenge remains: how will you use your gift to hack the system in your community? Thank you.